everyone. Welcome to another episode of UX Pathways. And I have the opportunity to have Joe Pulizzi on today's podcast. How are you, Joe?
Mark, I'm doing great. It's good to be here.
Glad to have you here. I know you've been in the industry for some time. I've been a fan. I've seen all the things you've done. However, how about those out there that may not be familiar with all of your work? How would you describe your current role in the industry?
My current role is probably an elder statesman in content marketing. So I've been in the industry of content marketing for over 20 years now. I got my start in traditional publishing at a large B2B company called Penn Media in Cleveland, Ohio, which doesn't exist anymore. But at the time, it was the largest independent business to business publisher in the US. And I was lucky enough to find my way into what was their custom media department. So instead of selling ads or event sponsorships like normal media companies, where our department was specifically trying to help companies tell better stories. And that looked like email newsletters or print magazines at the time, and then evolved into podcasts and social media and whatnot. And left there in 2007, started what became Content Marketing Institute, and then we launched an event called Content Marketing World in Cleveland in 2011, which became the largest event in content marketing and still is the largest event, in-person event in content marketing. I'm not affiliated with it anymore, but I'm happy that it's still going strong. And so I still write books. I've written 8 books on marketing and content marketing. I have 2 podcasts that I've been doing that are up to almost 500 episodes each. So I guess content and longevity is kind of my place at this point.
And you have a lot of high level tips that you offer. One of the ones that I know stands out a lot that I've seen repeatedly, I guess, enamored out there in whatever medium you're gathering your content from is that you should be the owner and of your content and placing it on your own networks. Are there other things that you kind of hang your hat on that you would recommend to folks out there?
Well, you're right. That's probably the biggest thing that people refer to me as. Is like Joe said years ago, don't build your content house on rented land. And for those of you listening that don't know what that means, it's like if you're going to try to build an audience and build your own intellectual property, uh, you don't want to give that all away and be in the hands of people like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram for everything. And which most content creators today, and even most marketers, they're putting a large amount of their content on networks that they don't have any control over, where the algorithm is not up to them and they get shown or not shown based on somebody else, not what you do. And I always said, that's fine. We can build it, we can start building an audience there. But what we really want to do at some point is have control over our channel. So that's when it comes to podcasting and email specifically, where we actually get somebody else's data is important and we can build a long-term relationship with those people. So I get scared for a lot of content creators out there that are starting that only have a TikTok channel. I mean, we've seen is TikTok going to be around? Is it not? I mean, those are the things that continually happen and will always happen. And like Mr. Beast, great. He's got 300 million followers, subscribers on YouTube. But honestly, YouTube could kick him off tomorrow. I don't think they're going to do that, but they could. So those are the types of things we try to talk to young content creators that are getting it. And it's okay. You can be on any channel that makes sense for your business, but you're going to want to have some kind of plan to transfer, that communication, those followers, those subscribers on channels you don't control to something you have more control over.
And all that content that's out there. So there's so much content, and especially in the content marketing world, the goal is mini is how do I get more subscribers? How do I keep my customer base? Because there's always that stat of it takes more to actually acquire a customer, to keep a customer. So you're creating all this content. What is your experience around trying to create a positive user experience, like drawing people in? Is there kind of like a key to the kingdom of what someone should do to create that positive experience with their content?
Well, it's so difficult, but that's why I fell in love with content marketing, Mark, because it's the one type of marketing that I feel you have to give value. to receive value in return. It's like, okay, if I'm just doing an ad, it's no inherent value in that ad. I'm pitching a product or a service and I want to sell something. But with content marketing, I have to understand what are the needs of that user, what are their informational needs, what keeps them up at night, what are their pain points. I really want to understand the struggles that they're going through. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, with our expertise as a company or mine as an individual, how do I create something consistently over time that can help them live a better life in some way, get a better job? And if they start to trust me, start to trust our brand, then that will result in what I would call sales, savings, or sunshine. So in sales, it's like I want to actually drive more sales. I want to sell stuff. Savings, I'm using content marketing to replace something that's maybe more expensive, like advertising in our own business. Or sunshine is how do I create a more loyal customer or a just a better customer overall? And that's the number one reason why people do content marketing and how I got my start when I was creating custom magazines for people. It was almost always about loyalty. Okay, this person is a customer. We want them to be a customer for life or continue being a customer in some way. How do we send them something that just positions us as experts, but at the same time gives them something of true value? You might look at like Lego magazine. Like my kids, when they were growing up, they loved Lego magazine. It wasn't just pitching product. It was here's all the ways you could use Lego, and here's what all these people around the world and they're how they're using Lego bricks, and they loved it. They loved sitting down with that. Or, I for years I got Mazda's magazine. It's like, oh, and Mazda's going to tell you here's all the places you can go travel in the world. Or it was mostly a travel publication. So those are the types of things we want to think about. Is from a if you want to say from a user experience side, I'm not just focused on here's what I need to sell. I'm first focused on what is the need of that customer and how do I help their lives in some way. And if I do that, I will engender trust. And if they trust me more, they will ultimately buy from me.
And what do you find? I mean, you're out there and you're trying, you said one of the first things that you try to do is understand, the challenges and pain points. What are some of the things that you do as a content marketing expert? What are some of the things that you do to try to uncover that?
So, base content marketing 101 is set up as many listening posts as you can to understand your customers or your audience or your readers, however you want to position that. So, that could be ongoing surveys. It could be actually talking to customers on a regular basis. When I grew up in media, it was called reader calls. We would actually call the readers and figure out, what are you dealing with? How can we help you be better? It might be things like, oh, I'm going to follow certain customers on LinkedIn to see what they're dealing with. It could be Facebook, it could be Instagram, it could be YouTube. It could be going to industry events to talk to them. So anytime, and you want to have five, six, or seven of these things. You could use today. You could use ChatGPT. You could use lots of different things. So you just have a better understanding of your audience, and those audience needs change every day. So that's why you have to have somebody in your marketing department, or maybe you, that really understands. Personally, if you are a small company, if you're an independent content creator, going to events and talking to your audience firsthand is absolutely the best thing that I can recommend. When I first got started in content marketing, I'm like, well, I need to talk. I need to have like regular conversations with people that are dealing with these challenges so I can have a better understanding. So I would go to marketing events all around the world and just talk with people. What are you dealing with? Is this working? Is this, are you getting buy-in for content marketing? Why or why not? What are you doing? What are you going to do next? How do you measure it? These are things that you can get in surveys and you can get following social media trends, but getting it in person and hearing it firsthand makes the biggest impression.
Yeah, and I love how you put that is you have to have multiple kind of irons in the fire out there gathering all this content. And then you started hitting on why it's so hard because it's changing all the time. Are there any other aspects that really make that process challenging for someone that's thinking to get into content marketing or trying to understand their audience?
So if you're in a marketing department in a company, where a lot of content marketers make mistake is they'll come in with here's how you measure content marketing. You got to measure here. You got to get the subscriber, and then you measure their change over time and what they're doing and what they're not doing versus somebody that's not a subscriber. Well, that's great, but if your organization doesn't measure marketing that way, it's not going to do you any good. So what you want to do is figure out, okay, how is my company currently measuring marketing? How do they measure sales performance? How do they measure cost performance? How do they measure loyalty over time? Whatever that is, that's the box we need to fit content marketing in. So when I get subscribers and followers and impressions, and what's the value of people commenting on my threads, and what is the value of having an audience on LinkedIn, and those types of things, we want to take all that and say, okay, that's fine, but I can't go to my chief marketing officer and say, look, I've got, 100,000 followers on LinkedIn. They're going to say, well, what are we selling? This is marketing. So at the end of the day, we have to actually show some marketing performance. And so don't recreate the wheel. And I've seen so many people go in and say, this is how you measure social media and content marketing. Well, yeah, maybe in some other company, but if your company, if you're a business to business industrial company that has no idea of measuring it that way, that's later. You could fight that battle some other time. Right now, I've got to fit with this organization because all the accounting people, the financial people, the executive people, they measure it this way. So you have to go over there and figure out how you can do that.
Adapt to your own business.
That's exactly right.
That is
A lot of
so,
people lost their jobs by saying, no, this is how we measure content in social media. It's like, great. And now you're looking for a new job. So
yeah,
that did a
and
lot of
in
good.
today's environment, that is definitely something that is, well, as any environment, but that always is a challenge as well. So you talked about content marketing, you talked about some of the challenges. Now, if I'm somebody that I'm on the fence, maybe I'm just got out of college, or maybe I'm in a transitional state, I'm trying to think about where should I go next. I like content marketing, I like copywriting, maybe there's some place I should go. Do you have any advice to someone that's thinking about getting into this field or moving into the field, especially thinking about, as you said, that end user when they're writing all of that wonderful copy?
I do actually have some advice. So what, and this is content marketing is almost marketing in most companies now. Everyone's doing it. You have so many content creators out there, content entrepreneurs. There's so much content being created. But wherever you want to go in marketing or content creation, the one thing I can say is just build an audience. So, are you excited about some particular topic? Are you interested in a group of people doing something? Whatever that is, build an audience. I don't care if that's a podcast, an email newsletter, a YouTube channel, TikTok, Instagram Reels, webinar series. I don't care. If you can build an audience and figure out, okay, what are those the needs of that audience, and you're going to build something and consistently deliver a piece of content over time, and this, and I'm saying it could be 50 people, it could be 100 people, it could be 500 people. If you go in to any interview and say, this is kind of my side project, this is what I'm doing, and it shows, oh my God, look, they understand how to do research, according to the needs of the audience. They understand how to actually build an audience and audience development. They understand content creation. They can do copywriting and editing. They're using AI in certain places that make sense. You're already doing all the things that you need to do in that next job. So just do it on your own. And I saw, this is about 6 months ago, I was giving a speech to a bunch of high school students, and I just said, what do you like doing? What excites you? Do that thing. Do the YouTube thing. Do the create your own video podcast. Do all that stuff. Have fun with it, and then that will actually help you get a job and do whatever you want to do in marketing in the future. So that's what just go build an audience, and all those stuff that you will learn when you're having fun building an audience, that will help you in marketing in any organization around the world.
So that passion, use that passion, and then obviously skill sets, build those skill sets with the passion to be able to push forward.
That's all you're going to
But
be doing in whatever marketing position. You're going to be building an audience or helping to build a loyal audience in some way. So just do it now. You don't have to wait to get the job to do that.
and you started me thinking, it was how do you cut through that audience? There's, because of that, there's so much content out there. Is that the next step? Is how do you, because you're doing it, obviously your content's out there, but I feel as though today, whether it's music, podcasts, content, there's so much.
Yeah.
Is it the kind of that? unique aspect to your content that will cut through the noise, or are there other things?
Well, I think focus is the most important, believe it or not, because you don't want to go out there and do five or six things. You can't be you're going to be master of nothing. You're going to be jack of all trades, and what you want to do is understand one Instagram or TikTok or podcasting better than anything, and focus on building an audience in one place. So that's what I would say is just don't go everywhere and figure out a niche that is small enough that you could actually, at some point, if you did the work, you could be an expert in it. So a lot of people, like I'll give you an example with happening with AI. How many marketing AI experts are there out there right now? There's thousands of them. How hard is it for you going to break through and build an audience? It's going to be extremely difficult because there's so much competition. So think about, okay, where is there not a lot of competition? So if I'm going into AI and I'm forced to, and then I'm saying, okay, marketing. Then I want to say, well, then I've got to go even smaller. I got to go marketing AI in the financial industry. Well, that might be to marketing in financial industry specifically for cryptocurrency. I'm just throwing stuff out. I don't know. But I want to get small enough where I actually have an opportunity to break through. And a lot of people start way too broad in their topic area. So if you get really small, and then once you get really small, then you understand that that's a very particular audience. That's somebody in the financial region that's interested in certain things. And then you can better target that. You can find Reddit strings, you can find discussion forums, group chats, things where they're hanging out in that very small area where it's very hard is to say, oh, how do I find them on Twitter or X? Well, good luck with that. Let's focus on something very small so you can actually learn from that audience and figure out what their pain points are.
Great advice, Joe. So much there to unpack. I appreciate you sharing all of your wisdom today on the podcast. If someone wanted to find out more about you and what you're doing out there, is there a place they should go?
Yeah, lots of places, but the easiest place is go to joepulizzi.com, Pulizzi.com, and I have a newsletter that I send out every other week, just about the kinds of things we were talking about. So if this is of interest to you, go and sign up, and then if you want to talk to me, just send me an email after you after you get my newsletter, and I'm fairly responsive. I'll get back to you in a couple days.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And I hope everything you're working on keeps soaring.
Mark, thank you so much. I appreciate it.